Congratulations on the film.
Oh, thank you so much.
There's so much to unpack with this, but I wanted to start by asking you about your experience on Pirates of the Caribbean, because before then, obviously, you've done musicals. Themselves are quite a Herculean task. But I wondered how your experience on Pirates of the Caribbean helped you with jumping into this, and obviously then Mary Poppins as well behind that.
Yes, well, it's funny. All the movies I've done prior to this movie really helped me with this film because it was so complicated, technically so complicated. The fact that I had worked on ships before and understood how to work on ships and had that experience, especially even with the whole shipwreck on this and the storm and that kind of thing, was invaluable. I feel at home on a ship. Although I will say our ship was on a gimbal on a backlet at Pinewood. There was no water around it. We had, rain, and we had big dump tanks and things like that, and spray and that kind of thing. Anything that interacts with people. But we weren't actually on water. On a lot of the Pirates movies, I was actually on water. So, but this was complicated because we actually had to have a shipwreck, and so we needed to destroy the ship basically. And which we did. I mean, all the fire in the film is real. So we actually burned the ship literally down. But it was, on Poppins too, the whole sort of animation sequence really, there was so much CGI in that, obviously, and hand-painted animation. But just the fact that we'd worked with, basically in a blue screen stage where, there's only 2 live actors, everything else is not real. Similar here. I'm on a blue screen stage, and there's only, sometimes 1 live actor or 2 live actors, and the rest is all created. The water, the backgrounds, the vegetation, the hair, the costumes. Every strand of hair was added because it's all underwater. Yeah. It was challenging.
You've kind of answered my next question, which was, I know Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, and Kevin Reynolds are all shot at water on their films, Waterworld, Jaws, and Titanic.
Yes.
So don't ever do it. Don't ever shoot on water.
It's really complicated. We did some water work. Obviously, anything above the water line, we were doing in real water. So we were out there on pontoons and things like that. The elements are crazy. Sometimes I'd just be standing in the water, But and sometimes we did some underwater work, especially with Eric, who is, he's not a mer person, so he can look like a real person, have to speak underwater. He's holding his breath. But water is not easy. But this wasn't easy either. The technical part of this, and the funny thing is, my mantra the whole time we were working on the movie was, don't let the technical part of it show. I don't want people to care about it. I want people to believe they're underwater. I don't want them to see it. They don't need to see that I did it in little pieces, and sometimes an actor would wear a rig for one line and then switch and put on another rig for another line to do another move. The goal was to keep the story in the forefront, also all of the acting and all of the character work in the forefront. That was key.
Yeah. You've been lucky enough to have some great ensembles, and this one equally so. I know a lot of directors say 90% of the work is casting. I guess
a lot of it.
Having this ensemble makes your job much easier.
No question. The cast is extraordinary, and I will say the fact that we had so much rehearsal time to prep this film is gold, because you're all doing the same movie. Everybody knows what they're doing, what their function is. Even, our animated creatures, or CGI animated creatures, there should be photoreal looking, like Flounder and Sebastian and Scuttle. They were all in rehearsal with us, so that, as an example, Javier could talk to Sebastian or David, and they could play a scene, and it's not just a puppet or just a voice,
Are you done with Disney now? Are you looking forward to doing something a little bit smaller, given that you've just done three or four massive movies not back to back, but one after another?
Yes, I think, this one was 4.5 years, so I think it'll be really nice to sort of focus maybe on something a little smaller. I have to say I love working there. I feel at Disney, I feel very, very supported and incredibly valued. The respect there is enormous. And the trust now, after all these projects together, it's been wonderful. So, the great thing is there's a lot of facets there at Disney, which is great. There's so many choices for filmmakers. So I'm sure I'll continue my work with them, but absolutely, it'd be nice to sort of mix it up, change it up a little bit, because this one was a massive one.
Yeah, I can imagine. Rob, so lovely to
Yes, thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey you guys!
Hey you guys!